could you imagine how Cyrus the Great, who was willing to accept many people and who was called the Great because he was a great statesman, how do you feel about Iran now?
That's another lecture.
Yeah, but it is a wonderful question. I think that, as you said, Cyrus the Great, when he ruled over the Persian Empire, the vast majority of the subjects of the Persian Empire weren't Persian. There was tremendous diversity, and he understood that in order to rule over that landmass and that diversity of people, he wouldn't be able to convert all of them to, at that time the state religion was Zoroastrianism. So he kind of allowed them to do their own thing. And I think the Islamic Republic of Iran, one of the, I think the valid critiques of it is that it's trying to force its vision of the Middle East onto the peoples of the Middle East and onto its own population as well. And I think that it can do that using coercive power, but there's going to be, I think, an inevitable backlash towards that. And I think that Cyrus the Great would also frown upon the Islamic Republic's slogans of death to America and death to Israel. I don't think he would be happy with that. And Cyrus the Great, having come up with the first, what they call the cylinder of human rights, probably would not be proud of Iran's human rights record today. One thing I'll leave you with is it was recently the Persian New Year. March 20th was the Persian New Year. And what's become a very popular tradition in today's Iran during the Persian New Year is to actually visit the tomb of Cyrus the Great near Persepolis outside of Shiraz. And I saw an aerial footage from this year's celebrations of the Persian New Year. And it looked like thousands of people were outside Cyrus's tomb. So what's interesting about the Islamic Republic, the Shah tried his best to market himself as the inheritor of Cyrus the Great and associate himself with Cyrus the Great and tout the ancient Persian Empire and perhaps downplay Iran's ties to Islam. And the population reacted in the opposite way. And nowadays it's the opposite. The Islamic Republic in many ways doesn't see themselves as the inheritors of Cyrus the Great and the Asian Persian Empire, and their identity is much more Islamic than it is Persian, but the society has reacted in the opposite way. And Elaine Shalino, who was the longtime New York Times correspondent who covered Iran, wrote a book a decade ago called Persian Mirrors. And she had, I think, 10 rules about Iran, and one of them was that Iran isn't just the Islamic Republic, and it's not just Persia. And so I think there's a lot of truth to that.